Hi, my name is Beth Heile here for Board Game Geek TV, and I'm sitting down with Stacy Buck of Let's Choose Games.
Hi, Beth. Good to see you.
And you guys have brought us 2 games to show today, but before we kind of get into a little tutorial here, I just wanted you to give us a little idea of what your company is about, because it's a little unusual for a board game company.
Well, thanks. So I'm a speech-language pathologist.
As am I.
And my business partner, Lisa Maley, is a teacher. Both of us have general ed and special ed background. So when we actually worked together in the classroom, I was the speech-language pathologist, she was the learning disabilities teacher, and we kind of developed one game in particular, have gone through a few transformations over the years, and this is one of our more recent games.
Now, you guys are local here in Chicago as well, so have you found that people are starting to slowly wake up to the idea of games that are fun and enjoyable, but also educational?
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of our idea, right? The company is Let's Choose, and so the idea is that it's our games are flexible, that our games are something that kids would enjoy playing, but also kind of develop their problem-solving skills, their decision-making skills, and like you said, have fun doing it along the way.
And I will say, people ask me for my opinion on games a lot, particularly the families in my classroom as well, like, oh, what games would be good for so-and-so? And I find I have lots of ideas, but always with this tweak, with this addition. And I'm very glad for you to show your games, because I found in the stuff that you've shown us already that I do not need to make any tweaks.
Ooh, well, that's good, but go ahead. I mean, that's one of the things, again, that we really want people to do is be flexible and have it work for your classroom or your children at home.
Yes, I mean, I will admit, completely biased, hitting on multiple levels here. I mean, that's part of the reason we're like, oh, we got to get Stacy and Lisa in for an interview, because this is awesome. Great. So let's get started in on your first game that you brought us, and I have a demo box here, upside down, called Centsible Kids.
Yeah, so Centsible Kids is the play on the words for sense, dealing with math. It really is a game to help kids be introduced to economics, to the idea of spending and saving, how you earn money, how you can spend money, what that really means along the way.
Award-winning already, I can see.
Yeah, thank you. We're pretty excited about that. Yeah.
Which award did you win, just in case people can't read?
Oh, the Tillywig Brainchild Award.
Which is one of the more delightfully named awards, I think.
It is Tillywig.
All right. So, what do we expect when we open up? What do we expect when we open up a box of Centsible Kids?
So you'll have a pad to use with children. On the one side is a check register, and on the other side there is, which is the same here, but it's dry erase. Are places to write financial goals, and depending on the kids, it might be, I want to save to buy a coat, I want to save to buy a gift for my parents, whatever. And then the bottom, there's a rubric, because most children are familiar with those now in schools. So you can kind of get a rubric, and at the end, tally up your score to see if you are a financial genius, a moderate economist, or a penny pincher. So when you're playing, again, depending on the age and the skill level of the students, you could start them out by talking about payday. And if you do sort of a basic minimum wage, because there isn't one particular minimum wage nationally, every state is different. So if you were to start out with that and give them the balance, say, okay, you're in school for 5 days a week, for every 2 weeks, here's what your pay is. You could write down, for example, payday.
And I will note Stacy is writing this upside down.
And then let's say it's $400 and I don't remember, let's say $75, right? So you start that out there, and you can do, again, flexibly, as much talk about this as you want, or as little, in terms of what kind of job would you have if you get a minimum wage, paid job? How would you get a higher paid job? What is the importance of college and doing well in school? All of those kinds of pieces. So then, again, it kind of depends on what you're doing. If you want to play for 15 or 20 minutes, that's great. If you want to play for half an hour or 45 minutes, your choice, right? So you can pass out cards to kids, or you can have them choose cards ahead of time. Let's say you pass out 3 cards, and this particular child gets buying some cool gym shoes, recycling, and helping with gardening.
And I'm going to make a prediction right off the bat. I'm guessing green money is going to be money coming in and red money is going to be...
Exactly. So we do put on here, right, debit and credit with the real bank terms, not credit meaning a credit card. So again, this kind of can spark discussion. So kids can talk about, if they're in a group or in a classroom, you can talk about what might be a realistic price for buying some cool gym shoes, right? So in this day and age, $60 probably isn't it. It's probably more like $75 to $125, depending on what you want to get. So we could write that on there. And then you could take that out of your balance. So you
There's little math skills snuck in there.
Exactly. So you could write that down. I didn't put my date on here. And then again, you could talk about, well, let's say recycling around my house is a chore. It's I get an allowance for that, but if I were to break it down, maybe I get $3 for it if I do it. So you could put that on there, and you'd add that to your check register. And let's say it's the summertime, which would be lovely, and as we're sitting here in sweaters and scarves, and you help with gardening, or you go to your neighbor's house, or it's a community garden, whatever, and somebody says, you know what, that was great, here's $5. But again, we could kind of talk about it. You don't have to just list it. It depends on the ability level of the students.
Right, because I could see for sure you could set this up ahead of time and just have these be fixed prices if that's what the situation calls for.
Exactly. And there are a few cards in the deck that are blank cards, so kids could write down options for what they want to use, or we include the reproducible page so that you can kind of make the copy and cut it and have kids write on there. Then it's not dry erasable, but that's fine. You can still, put on.
Well, hey, if we're talking therapist speak, and we just laminate it, and then it's dry erasable anyway, and it's fine.
There you go. So you can have this be ongoing. This is the dry erase one for a classroom, but you could have students keep theirs and have it be ongoing as well. So you can really, over time, start to see what does it mean to spend money and to save money. And there's lots of different ways, obviously, in here. Let's see, let's say you have to pay for something you broke. That could be realistic, right? I mean, and some of them are kind of just, some of them are just fun. Like, the gardening one, let's say you give to charity. It's spending money, but it's a nice way. So this is also a piece that could go into this when we talk about, we like our games to be flexible and decision-making, developing those skills. So then you can talk to kids, well, how do you feel about how much money you have left in your bank account today when we're done playing, right? And some kids might be ecstatic that they got everything that they wanted to buy, right? Where other kids might be really disturbed that there really isn't that much money left when they started out with $400, which sounds like a lot, right? So, so we like that idea to it too. And then again, at the end of each time, when you play, you can kind of go through and tally up, did I do my transactions correctly?
Mm-hmm.
If I did, I get 3 points. If I have, a certain amount of errors, and it tells them the directions more detailed for that. Or how many transactions, my math calculations.
Yeah, did you do the arithmetic correctly?
Right. Did I set realistic goals? Because we've played it where children say, well, I want to win the lottery. Well, that's not realistic, so you do not get a point for that, right?
But you let them write it, so then there's the discussion later. So.
Exactly, and then you can go back and change it. And did you reach your goal? So this one is more, for a longer term of play, probably over days. But if you want to just do it for that day and you have a lot of transactions, that could be workable too.
And I could see this tying in nicely if you actually had some, like the middle school classroom I'm actually thinking of has little checkbooks and things so they can practice this for real. They have a little debit card machine that you could tie this into some of your classroom reward systems that you might have where they're actually earning rewards that they actually get for real,
right.
But using some of this framework to help clarify the concepts.
Well, that is a good point. We've also had some shop owners locally say that they've tied it in with other games or other activities. So kids who do, who make the bracelets, I don't know that I'm allowed to say the name of it, but kids who make those bracelets and sell them, right, that this could go nicely with that, or kids who have lemonade stands in the summertime. And so we think that's pretty cool too, because then it's not just, oh, I made all this money. It's, well, I spent all this money to buy these materials.
Right. Yeah, I remember feeling extremely jilted when I made $8 at my lemonade stand, and then my mom came along and yoinked out $4 because she had bought all the ingredients, thinking that was supremely unfair when I was 8. But, yes, with a few more support structures, probably would have made a lot more sense.
Right. Right. It would have been fun then instead of grueling.
Yeah. Now, if people are interested in buying this, where could they get it?
Well, primarily you can get it through our website, which is lets-choose.com. But there are some shops in the Chicagoland area who have it, and then there are some shops in other states around the country as well.
Fantastic. So, Stacy, thank you so much, as always, for stopping by and showing us some games from your company, Let's Choose, and we hope to see some more.
Sounds good. Thank you.